representatives from various embassies, members of national government, members of the board, former board members, SAMRC executives, special guests, welcome to the 50th anniversary and the Merit Awards.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my warm pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2019 South African Medical Research Council Scientific Merit Awards, a celebration of excellence in health research. I am Salome Maswime, an associate professor at UCT, obstetrician and gynecologist and head of global surgery.
Thank you, Salome. I'm the head of communications at the South African Medical Research Council. Now, in the 6th year, the awards are an established set of medals with categories from silver, gold, platinum, and a special President's Award.
The South African Medical Research Council was established in 1969 with the mandate to improve health care for all South Africans through research, development, and technology transfer so that people can enjoy a better quality of life. Tonight we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the South African Medical Research Council and celebrating the advances in research and healthcare in South Africa.
As my co-host has actually mentioned, it is our 50th year, an extremely exciting year. Now, to open the program, I'd like to welcome Professor Joni Mahlangu, the board chairperson, Professor Mike Sateche, the former board chairperson, and Professor Glenda Gray, the president and CEO.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I can't hear. It's all darkness, so I don't even know if anyone's there. It's wonderful to have you here today. We are turning 50 this year. We were born at the CSIR, just around the corner, and that's why we decided to have our 50th anniversary year. We've come a long way in the past. We had a wonderful scientific symposium today. We reflected back on our past, and we also then looked 50 years forward about how the Medical Research Council could position itself to not only improve the health of South Africans, but also to harness the fourth industrial revolution. And so we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, and we're going to celebrate the great scientists that South Africa has. Val Mizrahi was here today, and she was just reflecting on how wonderful the scientists of South Africa are, and I want to echo that. I think that we have a wonderful brains trust of medical and health scientists in South Africa, and I'm very proud to be the president of the MRC. Thank you.
Good evening, all of you. So speaking here as a past chairperson of the board, it's excellent because then I don't bring anyone into disrepute. I speak as a person that really is now a stalwart. So it is excellent to celebrate groundbreaking research for 50 years. I really have to take this opportunity to thank the previous board that did an excellent work, and those board members that are not coming, Trish, Lungi, Elizabeth, and Nafisa are here, but the other people will be mentioned by the new board chair that are really coming. Really, what has happened in the MRC is excellent in the sense that we had said we are going to lead by example. We are going to make sure that there is generation of new knowledge. Indeed, the MRC has done that, as you can see with the high-impact papers that have been published that have influenced policy and changed the practice of medicine and healthcare. We have said we will administer research effectively and efficiently. And indeed, most of you will know that the MRC has had several clean audits. This is excellent. I mean, we have made it to be a norm because it's an anomaly in South Africa for audits to be clean. And MRC has shown that you can do clean science, but they have clean audits as well, and that is commendable. And that has led to the MRC, therefore, using the money that it gets from government, even if it's little, to obviously get leverage, to get grants and funding, and that is commendable to the president and the EMC. And of course, we have said that we'll support technology and innovation. And MRC has done that, and really we are very, very happy and proud about that. Things like saving children with the ambiflows, as you have seen as you are coming in, and several technologies in terms of advancing the drug developments. Really, we are happy about it. And of course, the last one, which is the capacity building, which is sustainable. I think we have done a tremendous job as the MRC, and we need to congratulate the president and the EMC and the board, of course, having, for the first time, started to have female researchers being the one that are funded in the most, and then the previously disadvantaged institutions that are actually now starting to be funded. Some of them have never dreamt of being funded by the MRC, and this is now happening. This is an excellent thing that it shows that indeed, Glenda and the team have demonstrated that excellence and diversity can be mixed, and the more diverse you are, the more the innovation will be better, and that is sustainable. And of course, from our side, the last bit that we've done, it's the genomic center that we have just partnered with the Beijing Genomic Institution. This is something that will lead the MRC indeed to be pioneers of precision medicine. And that is going to be excellent that we do that. And before I go, I've had the whisper, I had forgotten a good friend, and that is an outgoing board member who was my deputy, Quaresha, as well. She's not coming in the new board. Because the old board members are here. Quaresha is, yes. And then, of course, I also have to say from the past president that I worked with as well, before I worked with Lenda, Slim, and then, of course, the past chairperson that I took over from Prof. Lizo Mazwaya and his wife, they are also here that I have seen. And really, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to have had this opportunity together with the other board members that we could celebrate this 50th of existence of MRC. But one last secret that why I was chosen to be the chair of the MRC at that stage is because we are the same age with the MRC. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the new board of the MRC, I would like to welcome all of you, in particular those of you who have joined the board for the first time, and perhaps I would like to welcome all the recipients of the awards this evening. MRC, 50 years is an amazing journey. It is something that some of us, in fact, are very proud to be associated with an organization that not just aims to improve the lives of the people, the health of the people in South Africa, but it also advances science. You have an amazing organization which is led by people who are scientists of note globally. And I would like to say that, in fact, it's an absolute privilege for the MRC board and the executive to host this evening, to see so many of you here to celebrate with us 50 years of excellence. Perhaps as a last comment, if there was a world accolade, such as the World Rugby Trophy, to be given to an organization, I think MRC would be a contender, if not a winner in that regard. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Professor Mahlangu. Thank you, Professor Sateche. Thank you, Professor Gray. I think it's quite serendipitous that Professor Sateche actually spoke about capacity development, because the next set of medals is our silver medals. Silver medals are for emerging and upcoming scientists and those committed to capacity development. I'd like to request Professor Rachel Jukes, our executive scientist, to present the medals.
Good evening, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to be able to do this job tonight, as I have at previous gala dinners, because this is the most important award. The most important thing for us in growing science in this country is to identify the young researchers who demonstrate excellence, who will be our established and leading and mentoring researchers of the future. And that's what the Silver Award really means. And so what I'd like to do is to take you through the 4 people who I have the great pleasure of giving these awards to tonight. And for each one, we've got a little video showcasing their work. So I'm not going to give you a long explanation about what they've done, but I'd like to introduce the first award winner, who's Professor Novel Shegu.
Professor Novel Shegu is a scientist at the South African Medical Research Council Center for TB Research at Stellenbosch University. He's an associate professor and co-leads the diagnostic biomarker research efforts of the Immunology Research Group. He began his training as a medical laboratory scientist in Cameroon. Professor Shegu's research work mainly focuses on the discovery of biomarkers for the diagnosis of TB disease and monitoring of the response to treatment. He is particularly interested in the development of simple, field-friendly point-of-care diagnostics for the rapid diagnosis of TB, as well as monitoring of the response to treatment in resource-constrained settings. His work over the years has earned him many accolades, including the Emerging Research Talent Young Researcher by UNESCO Merck Africa Research Summit in Geneva, Switzerland. Most recently, he was named a finalist in the 2019 National Science and Technology Forum Awards in the category T.W. Kambule NSTF Awards.
The second winner tonight is Professor Yaya Chunara.
Professor Yaya Chunara is a pharmacist by profession and holds various positions including chair and head of the Department of Pharmacy and Pharmacology at Wits University. He is also a principal researcher at the Wits Advanced Drug Delivery Platform and co-director of the Syndicate Wits Health Consortium. Early in his career, he was a recipient of SAMRC's research funding as a postgraduate researcher and a postdoc, and as a principal investigator on the Self-Initiated Research Grant. Chunara's research interest and expertise covers, amongst others, areas of pharmaceutics, targeting and bioavailability, nanomedicine, biomaterials, and molecular pharmaceutics. Due to his notable experience in extensive research, he is no stranger to the red carpet. He has won several prestigious awards. He received the T.W. Kambule National Science and Technology Forum Award and the Top Intellectual Property Creator. He also received the National Award for Best Research Publication in Pharmaceutics at the 33rd Annual Conference of the Academy of Pharmaceutical Sciences of South Africa and Wits Forum International and Prolific Inventor Awards.
Another last round of applause. Our third winner tonight is Professor Craig Kinnear.
Professor Craig Kinnear joined the South African Medical Research Council in 2006 as a junior scientist. His hard work and dedication saw him grow through the ranks. Today, he occupies the position of Specialist Scientist at the SAMRC's Center for TB Research. In addition, he is currently the head of the SAMRC Genomics Center, the first high-throughput genomic sequencing center in Africa, launched in 2019. Professor Kinnear obtained his PhD at Stellenbosch University in 2007, which focused on identifying novel genetic predisposing factors involved in the pathogenesis of obsessive-compulsive disorder and schizophrenia. Some of his research interests include human genetics, primary immunodeficiency disorders, host predisposition to TB, cardiovascular genetics, Parkinson's disease, and neurodevelopment. He's a recipient of research grants for the National Health Laboratory Service, the National Research Foundation, and the US NIH.
And the last silver award tonight goes to Professor Nazir Ismail.
A pathologist and clinical microbiologist by profession, Professor Nazir Ismail is a man who wears different hats. He heads the Center for TB at the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, NICD, and the WHO Supranational TB Reference Laboratory in South Africa. He's also a counselor at the College of Medicine South Africa. He's a professor in the Department of Medical Microbiology at the University of Pretoria and also an honorary professor in the Department of Internal Medicine at Wits University. Professor Ismail also sits on several independent review panels and collaborating centers at the South African Medical Research Council, including the SHIP program. In addition, he's also a recipient of the joint SA-UK SAMRC Newton Fund. His extensive research in TB, microbiology, molecular epidemiology and transmission, including public health and epidemiology, have earned him roles and memberships in various professional bodies. He's a member of the National Clinical Advisory Committee, the South African TB Think Tank Steering Committee, the TB South Africa Project, WHO TB Task Force, Critical Path to TB Drug Regimens, Washington Surveillance Work Group, and the ORAM Scientific Advisory Committee.
Round of applause for all of them. They are going to be carrying the mantle forward over the next 50 years. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Professor Jukes, and congratulations to all the Silver Award winners. We'll now be moving on to the Gold Award winners, and I'd like to call up the Vice President of the SAMRC, Prof. Mpatlele, to present these awards. The Gold Awards go to senior scientists who have made an impact on lifestyle, who have made research that has had an impact on improving healthcare and also improving lifestyles in developing countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. It is my absolute privilege to introduce these awards, and maybe I should also add that it's not just important to receive these awards, like my colleague Rachel has mentioned for the previous awardees. I take it that it's also a status and also a prestige to receive the MRC award. So with that, I would like to, my right hand ladies behind me, I would like to introduce the first awardee in this category, which are Gold Awards, and this is Professor Lynn Denny.
Professor Lynette Denny is the director of the South African Medical Research Council Gynecological Cancer Research Centre and SAMRC Research Unit based at the University of Cape Town. She is also head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Cape Town's Groote Schuur Hospital. Throughout her career, she has dedicated her energies to reducing the risk of cervical cancer in low-research settings, both in terms of her clinical and research work. Her work has been published widely on the subject, that's proving to be influential worldwide. In recognition of her remarkable work on cervical cancer prevention among disadvantaged communities and general focus on gynecological cancer management, Professor Denny's work has previously been acknowledged through several prestigious local and international awards, including the South African Medical Association Award for Extraordinary Service to Medicine and the Global Humanitarian Award by the International Gynecologic Cancer Society. She's also a winner of the International Agency for Research in Cancer Medal of Honor Award.
So the next recipient of the Gold Award is Professor Robert Pattinson.
Professor Robert Pattinson has been the director of the SAMRC University of Pretoria Maternal and Infant Healthcare Strategies Research Unit since 1998. This is one of the oldest extramural research units of the South African Medical Research Council. He's also an emeritus professor at the University of Pretoria, where he previously served as clinical head of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. He serves on the National Committee for the Confidential Inquiries into Maternal Deaths, for which he edits all the reports, and served on the National Perinatal Morbidity and Mortality Committee in South Africa. As a qualified obstetrician and gynecologist, Professor Pattinson has a strong research focus in areas of maternal, fetal, and infant health. He led the team that developed and scaled up the essential steps into obstetric emergencies program. The program has been scaled up into all districts in South Africa. Pattinson is a member of the Academy of Science of South Africa, ASAF, winner of the Discovery Health Excellence Award, and a fellow Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Professor Pattinson attributes most of his professional growth to the SAMRC. His association with the organization dates back to 1987, when he first received the SAMRC postgraduate bursary, which he says was a defining moment for his career.
And the last and final awardee in this category is Professor Caroline Timerson.
Professor Caroline Timerson is a virologist and researcher. She's the head of the Cell Biology Research Laboratory in the Center for HIV and STIs in the National Institute for Communicable Diseases in South Africa and a research professor at Wits University. Her research interests include the study of HIV vaccines and HIV cure, pediatric and adult, with a focus on natural resistance models, which include maternal-infant HIV-1 transmission for studying protective immunity for HIV-1, and the study of long-term non-progressors and elite controllers to understand natural attenuation of disease progression. A more recent and major focus of her research efforts is in the field of pediatric HIV cure. This encompasses studies of the viral reservoir and host biomarkers in the context of very early ARV treatment of infants. This is part of the Leopard clinical trial being conducted in Johannesburg and a detailed study of the recent case of the HIV-infected South African child in long-term remission without antiretrovirals. In 2013, she was awarded the DST NRF HIV vaccine translational research chair in the Faculty of Health Sciences at Wits University, and in the same year, she was elected as a member of ASAF. Most recently, she received the 2018 Congress of Business and Economics Innovation Award for performing, together with other scientists, the world's first living donor living transplant from an HIV-positive parent to a HIV-negative child.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this session of Gold Awards. So, over to the program directors.
Thank you, Professor Mpahlele, and congratulations to the medalists. Now, the next category is our platinum medals. Platinum medals are awarded to scientists who've achieved a lifetime of exemplary and outstanding endeavors in the field of health. I would like to ask Professor Sateghe to come and present the medals.
So now for the big one, the Platinum Award is Prof. Kitten Deda.
Professor Kitten Deda is the head of both the Center for Lung Infection and Immunity, UCT Lung Institute, and the Division of Pulmonology at the University of Cape Town. Deda has a long-standing relationship with the South African Medical Research Council, having received the SAMRC Career Development Award in 2007. He's also a principal investigator on several multi-million rand grants awarded by the SAMRC. He's no stranger to the SAMRC Scientific Merit Awards. In 2013, he was the winner of the Gold Scientific Achievement Award. Recently, he was appointed as the director of the SAMRC UCT Center for the Study of Antimicrobial Resistance Research Unit, one of the SAMRC's new 7 extramural research units launched in 2019. An NRF A-rated scientist, Deda's contribution to science is described within the context of 2 of his major research focus areas: diagnosis of TB and molecular epidemiology and management of drug-resistant TB. Over the years, his work has been recognized. He has been the recipient of several prestigious awards, including the International Union Against TB and Lung Disease Award, and the 2018 European Union-funded EDC-TB Scientific Leadership Award and the South African Clinician Society Scientific Health Excellence Award. He serves on several national and international academic and advisory bodies and editorial board of journals such as the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Medicine and Lancet Respiratory Diseases. He holds 5 patents related to new TB control technologies. Some of his many international recognitions include being Professor of Mycobacteriology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in the UK, a visiting professor at University College London, and is the immediate past president of the South African Thoracic Society.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this is really a global leader and a world leader. It does show that South Africa is leading and a well-deserved award, Kitten.
Thanks. I'd like to accept this award on behalf of many people, many researchers at the Center of Lung Infection and Immunity at the University of Cape Town, and on behalf of so many other people and stakeholders and also collaborators, many of whom are here today and some of whom have received awards this evening. Secondly, I would singular thanks to the South African MRC, the President, the Deputy President, the Board, the Department of Health, for the significant and transformative role I think they've played in the research landscape and the major difference they've made to healthcare interventions over the last decade or two. I remember when I came back from the UK, having spent 8 years there doing postgraduate training. This was in 2007. I had applied before I came here, and the first grant I got to start off my research here was the self-initiated research grant. And many of you will remember this. At that time, it was 100,000 rands per year. And then I got the Career Development Award, which really set the foundation for much of the work and built the unit that we have today. And at that time, if I had said to anyone here, in 5 or 10 years' time, the MRC would be giving out awards of 20 and 30 million rand, you would have laughed at me and thought I was living in a dream world. But that's the reality today. And singular thanks to the previous board, the current board, Slim, who's here today, and Glenda, who've really taken the lead in transforming this research landscape and allowing us to compete with the best in the world, and most of all, to make a difference to the lives of South Africans. And then finally, I want to pay tribute to my extended family and my immediate family, my wife, Kilona, who's here, and my kids, for bearing with me and all their sacrifices. None of this would have been possible without them. Thank you.
And research. And I'd like to call up the president of the MRC, Professor Glenda Gray, to present the final award and also to do the vote of thanks.
We would also like to call on Professor Mahlangu to present the award.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge our previous board. So we have lots of special awards. And the first special award is going to go to the appreciation of our board, who are here at the moment. So I'm going to ask Johnny to help me with the awards. Where's Katecha? You're going to help us as well. The first one is Lungi. Lungi is very special and a dear friend and someone I've grown to admire and love, both for her passion for research and all the work that she's done. So we'd like to get Lungi to come up. You're not gone, eh? We will still use you. No one leaves the MRC. Elizabeth, where are you? Where's Elizabeth? I saw her earlier. Elizabeth. So both Lungi and Elizabeth have spent two terms on our board. Now where is that Trish Hanekom? Trish Hanekom. I think she needs a standing ovation, guys. I think that Trish needs a standing ovation. Can we all stand for her? Trish served which is both bitter and sweet to give, is to my old outgoing chair of the board, Mark Seteche. It's been wonderful to serve under you, and you've been a magnificent leader and wonderful to work with. So Mark has been a brilliant chair, and I'm going to miss him dearly. He also deserves a standing ovation. Now we're going to do our final awards for this evening, and these are what we call the President Award. And every year, when we give the President's Award, we look around in our country and we look to see the people that have made tremendous impact both in South Africa and globally, and people who, if they had not been there, South Africa would be a poorer place. And so the first person I want to call upon is Debbie Bradshaw on the burden of disease.
Professor Debbie Bradshaw has recently retired as a unit director from the Burden of Disease Research Unit. Bradshaw served the organization for 41 years, where she started as a junior statistician in the Institute for Biostatistics. She later moved to the Center for Epidemiology in Southern Africa and started developing a research program investigating mortality trends. This grew into a research unit which we today know as the Burden of Disease Research Unit, which focuses on describing the burden of disease and improving information on the health status in the country. Trained as a biostatistician, she became an epidemiologist who has built a career around understanding mortality patterns and describing population health. Professor Bradshaw first completed a BSc in mathematics, then proceeding her PhD studies with Oxford University in the Department of Biomathematics. She is also an honorary professor at University of Cape Town in the Department of Public Health and Family Medicine. In order to continue conducting high quality and groundbreaking research, Bradshaw has been very instrumental in securing funding. She has been awarded grants including the SAMRC flagship project, Second South African Comparative Risk Factor, Newton NCD Evolving Risk Factors for Cancers in African Populations, PEPFAR-funded CDC Cooperative Agreement with SAMRC National Cause of Death Validation Project, and the PEPFAR-funded CDC Cooperative Agreement with SAMRC, Enhancing Linkage to Care for HIV in South Africa.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely honored and privileged to have worked in the MRC for 41 years. I came in as a junior and I was given opportunity, support, and just ability to develop my own interests and build a team around me. I really do think the 50 years of the MRC has been an amazing journey for me and the MRC. I think, like the Emmy Awards, I couldn't have done this without my team. My manager, who is sitting somewhere over there, is Elise de Kock. She has really protected me and supported me in building the unit. But also the collaborations that we've been able to set up and benefit from have been outstanding. And they are my co-stars, all the collaborators. I can't name them except one. I think my leading co-star has been my husband, Rob Dorrington. I think when we got married in community of property, we didn't quite understand where intellectual property fell in. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey for us, and thanks to him and our two boys who
looked at us and said, "We're not doing research ever. It's far too much work." So thank you to the MRC and for this award.
That was worth coming for, Rob, was it? Yeah. So the last person, last but not least, is our clinician scientists who work in the clinic and who see and teach and train people. And where's Prof. Ephraim Mohang? Where is he? I can't see you. Where are you? Where's he gone? I can't see you. Oh, there you are. It's the lights.
Professor Ephraim Tibedi Mohokong is a former Vice-Chancellor and a Principal of the Medical University of South Africa, Medunsa, and a distinguished gynecologist and obstetrician whose name resonates with many health professionals in South Africa. Professor Mohokong's journey began in 1954 when he enrolled for a BSc in Chemistry and Zoology at the University of College of Fort Hare and proceeded all the way to get his PhD at the University of Natal, investigating the clinical and biomedical features of pregnant diabetics. Since then, he has received several honorary doctorates from various universities, including the University of Potchefstroom, University of Venda, and University of Pretoria. For many years, he maintained his footprint in public health, both in academia and the public sector. He is a force to be reckoned with. He was Vice President of the Medical and Dental Council and a member of the National Council of Association of South Africa. He was chairperson of its Education Committee. He also served on the board of the South African Blood Transfusion Service and that of the Council of the South African National Blood Service. He was also appointed by the late Honorable Dr. Walter Sisulu to the South African Research and Development Trust. Even after retirement, he still makes a contribution to public health. Apart from running his private practice at Legaye Mediclinic in Mabopane, he does part-time sessions at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology of Polokwane. He remains a mentor to many young and upcoming health professionals, and he runs outreach workshops in the Capricorn region of the Limpopo province.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my greatest pleasure to receive this award by the South African Medical Research Council. I never really expected it. It humbles me a great deal to receive it, because whatever I did in my lifetime was simply to solve problems and get on and see a better quality of life for South Africans. When I first heard I was going to be honored this way, I had my last born son with me, and I said, and he wondered, he says, "Timer, why are you laughing?" And I said, you know, a lyric came to my mind that I used to sing when I was at high school by the late Ella Fitzgerald. I just want to quote the part that I said to my son, that good things come to those who wait. Just relax and wait for fate. And I never forget this, because whenever I felt a bit pressed when I was younger, I sang that. I mean, I'm honored in the afternoon of my life, and I've done what I did because there were problems that one faced, and we needed the truth, and we needed the power, we needed the minds to deal with the healthcare as it faced us at the time. And I think when one looks back, we've made ground, but there's still a lot for us to cover, to conquer the problems related to health in this country. I hope quietly that the National Health Service maybe will bring this to us if we manage it properly. Thank you.
So all that's left for me to do is to do a vote of thanks. And so I just want to first of all say thank you to all of you who've come and supported your colleagues and your friends and your family. I think we need to give another round of applause to all our recipients of awards. They are great scientists, and they make South Africa proud. So continue, and it's wonderful that you're here and you still continue to do the work that we need to be done in South Africa. I want to also thank the outgoing board, the outgoing chair, and the members of the board. You were really special. You taught me a lot. You directed me and you guided me, and you helped make sure that MRC was great. So I want to acknowledge the past chair, Mike, and the past members of the board. Thank you very much for being with me in the first term of my presidency. I really appreciate it. I want to welcome my new board chair, Johnny. I'm looking forward to working with you. He looks like a little bit nervous to take on this role of chair, but you're great. You're going to be great, and we look forward to working with you. So thank you very much for accepting to be the chair of the MRC. It's greatly appreciated. I also want to acknowledge the new board for agreeing to serve on the MRC. And thank you. It is a delight to meet you. We have a wonderful fragrance and variety of people with wonderful talents. So thank you, the new board and the people that have stayed on. Thank you very much for continuing to serve the MRC. I want to thank Mishloti and Paul. Where are you? Can I see you? I can't see you. There you are. Mishloti and Paul, you are just magnificent representatives of the Department of Health. And if anyone could ever wish for better conduits to the department, I don't think anyone could wish for anyone better. So I love working with Mishloti and Paul, and thank you very much for looking out for the MRC and making sure that we are a priority of the Department of Health. So I want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much. Of course, the MRC wouldn't be able to function if it wasn't for the EMC. And so I also want to acknowledge my EMC members for being patient and for leaning in and showing up at the organization and doing all the hard work that you do. It's greatly appreciated. So I just want to acknowledge the EMC. Sounds like we're going to be here all night with all these acknowledgements. I'm going to talk. It's not going to be. I'm just joking. Don't worry. I just want to thank also all our senior management and support divisions that are here and that are not here today. You all work very hard to make sure that the MRC functions, and you should be proud of your contribution to science. Because if it wasn't for our senior management and our support divisions, science would not proliferate in South Africa. So thank you very much. I need to thank also the committee that sat for the whole year and met to plan the 50th celebrations, led by Naresh. Sorry, where's Naresh? He's out. He's over there. Where are you, Naresh? You right in the back there, waving. So Naresh has to be very patient with me because every idea he gives to me, I change 25 times. And he's very patient, and I want to thank you, Naresh, for leading the MRC planning and for a wonderful execution of this year. So I really want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much. We had a beautiful symposium, scientific symposium today, and which helped us reflect on our past to make us better scientists in the future. So I want to acknowledge everybody who participated and the input that we got. We listen to everything you say, and it makes us better to plan and makes us better at the MRC. So I want to thank you for that scientific symposium, and it was great to be part of it, and I want to acknowledge all the panelists. Thank you very much. We have a SAMJ supplement that's going to be coming out, and we're going to be shipping that to you. We managed to get 15 articles to describe the science of the MRC over the last 15 years. So I'm very proud that we have the supplement, and it's a pity it couldn't be here today, but all the articles are in, all the proofs are out, and you'll get your supplement in the post. I want to also acknowledge the CSIR International Convention Center for supporting us, for all the staff that are here, and for the enthusiasm, led by Mandy. Where's Mandy? Right at the back. Where's Mandy? Stand up. I can't see you. So I also want to thank Mandy, because she also gets it in her ear all the time from me, for all the work and how we have to double check and triple check everything. So Mandy, thank you for being patient with me, and I look forward to continuing to work with you, and you've done a great job, and I really appreciate all the work that you do. So thank you. So now it's time for us to have dessert. Normally, as is the procedure for our galas, we have our dessert, we put some music on, and we do a little bit of dancing to celebrate everything that we've done and to look forward to the future. So we have a dance floor in the middle, and we want to see you all boogie a bit before you go home. Thank you very much.